Hey everyone, welcome to Ajay and Nathan Discuss Movies, a show in which we discuss movies both old and new. Today we have a new movie that just dropped in the theaters to a raucous reception.
Oh, yeah.
And what is that movie title, Nathan, and who directed it?
It's Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler.
And what is this movie about?
This movie stars Michael B. Jordan playing twin brothers who return after a long hiatus to their hometown in Mississippi in 1932 with the dream of opening up a juke joint, a nightclub for them and their people so they can come and have a place to get together, to party, to go wild. But it's not all fun and merrymaking because soon they are visited by some uninvited guests who want more than the beer on tap. They want blood because now they're being attacked by vampires. Sinners.
And how did you feel about this movie, Nathan?
I love it. I love Sinners. There's no beating around the bush. I've already seen it twice. It is getting praise upon praise. It is being hyped. My fear going into it was I've heard nothing but good things about it. What if it doesn't live up to the hype? But it did, and more. It is a monumental achievement, and I cannot wait to watch it again. Ajay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I watched it once. I watched it on Sunday. We're filming this on a Tuesday, so it's dropping tomorrow on a Wednesday. I watched it once, but I'm definitely going to watch it again because I really loved it. I thought the cast was amazing. I thought the performances were amazing. The sound design, the cinematography, everything on the technical end was amazing. The acting was really well done. I thought Miles Caton really stole the show. Obviously, Michael B. Jordan is the standout performance, but I think in terms of what really held this movie together was Miles Caton. And I thought he did an amazing job. I thought the soundtrack was also really good.
Oh, that's the entire movie.
Yeah,
is that soundtrack.
Especially in the beginning of the movie, like the first, I'd say, hour and a half, where he really let that music really play out. I thought it was really well done. And even in terms of the horror, there are definitely horrifying elements within this movie. But more importantly, and not just more importantly, but just as importantly, there's a lot of humor in this movie as well. There's that moment in the movie where, and maybe we're kind of, it's not a spoiler, but there's that moment where I think it's either who's that guy's name? Smoke or Stack. I don't know which one.
Smoke or Stack.
I forget.
They're both Michael B. Jordan, but I think Stack is the one who's more just we're gonna have a party. He's the more boisterous one.
He's the more let loose kind of individual.
Yeah.
One of them shot a guy who was trying to loot their truck.
Oh yeah, he shot a guy and that was Smoke.
Yeah, Smoke. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, what the hell, dude?" It was hilarious, dude. I thought that was a hilarious scene. I really loved it.
No, yeah.
Also, the humor in which Hailee Steinfeld's character meets with Stack at the train station. He's like, "Yo, you effed me so good last night that you cried in my arms." It was so funny, dude. It was really funny.
It's exactly what she sounded like. No, it's very it's not like a forced kind of blockbuster-esque quippy humor. It's all it's natural. It's very conversational. That first hour is just letting you live in this time. It's letting you live with these characters. I think the movie does such a great job within that first hour of setting up these brothers and their relationship and their friendship and relationships with the small cast that surrounds them. And so when it hits the fan, when the vampires do show up, it packs more of a punch because you've kind of been with these people, these guys, for a majority of the film, just kind of learning their history, learning, their interpersonal relationships, and that's what makes the action really pack more of a punch once it sets off.
I also really enjoy the vampires as well.
Yeah, no,
in the film, I thought it was really well done in terms of the way that they were sort of built, and the ways in which they conducted themselves, and the way that they attacked the non-vampires into becoming vampires.
Yeah, no,
all of that was really well done and intentional, and intentional in a way that was sophisticated and different from your typical vampire movie.
Typical, like, mindless, like, monster movie. I think I really want to give praise to, it's Jack O'Connell, who plays the lead You watched Skins, right? We're both,
of course,
we're both Skins fans, and so it was nice to see him in, like, a leading villain role, because he, pun intended, he eats it up. Eats up his screen time, plays such a charming villain. It's so fun. Just everyone in the cast is absolutely fantastic. You mentioned Miles Caton, who plays their cousin.
I'm sorry if I
Sammy.
butchered your last name. I said Caton or something.
Caton.
Caton.
It's close enough, I'm sure, but yeah, he plays their cousin, and he's really like our anchor character. He's the audience's entryway into this world of Southern crime, and his aspirations of getting out of his hometown, being a blues musician. It's something you can really attach to, and not just his performance, but like his musical chops are absolutely ridiculous. There's that one sequence in the movie that kind of blows the whole thing up.
We'll get into spoilers later on.
We'll get into spoilers, but there is one sequence with him that is just seen to be believed is how good it is.
There was also that scene in which, and this is not really a spoiler because it's like in the beginning of the movie, but where Miles Caton's character and Stack, they're in the car and he's playing the blues off of his banjo or whatever guitar. Yeah. And the way that he's able to really like play acoustically and do so in a way that's like very minimalistic but still like packs a punch and is powerful with his singing voice. I thought that was a very enticing scene as well. That was very great.
No, yeah, those opening few scenes are just filled with such a like love and camaraderie between them. It's infectious. The entire movie, its energy and charisma is infectious.
And the fact that it's like different and it deals with a subject matter that really hasn't been explored through horror movies. Yes, you can look at it as a vampire movie, but there's so many things that were attached to this film that stood out.
There's a lot
with its contemporaries.
There's a lot of subtext, and just the setting itself, Jim Crow South in the 1930s. It's a great setting to set this kind of story with these themes of like culture being like put into a box, culture being assimilated or diluted, and that's where the vampires kind of come in.
Before we get into spoilers, I also want to give a big shout out to Delroy Lindo.
Yes, oh my God, he was Slim.
Yeah, when we first see him, he's literally just playing the harmonica at the train station, and he gets enticed to perform at the juke joint, not just because of the money, but because they have Irish beer.
They have Irish
that
beer.
Smoke and Stack looted from people up north in Chicago.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. He's like, wait, that's a beer?
He was amazing in this film as well.
Absolutely fantastic. Like, kind of like the heart of the movie is him right there. Just such a really fantastic supporting cast. Like, I've never been very impressed by some of Hailee Steinfeld's work, but in this movie, she's phenomenal. She's amazing. Just like rides that fine line between like nice young lady and then like immediately into like femme fatale. It's absolutely fantastic.
All right, so we've talked enough about the overalls, our thoughts on this movie, but let's get into spoilers.
Let's get into spoilers.
There's a lot of great moments in this film that happen.
Fantastic moments,
and you were alluding to what I was also trying to get at as well, which was that scene in which they're playing at the juke joint, and you see the spirits of both past and present of African and African-American music being played at that juke joint.
Yeah, no, the way the movie opens up, they open up with some narration about just like in every culture, there's someone who can make music that is so powerful it blurs the line between the future and basically that's who Sammy, Miles Caton's character, is in the film. Someone whose music is just who spits such fire that he can literally alter space and time. And that fantastic sequence, that fantastic oneer where he's playing in the nightclub, and just you see just like flashes of like tribal music all the way to like the future and like hip hop. There's the moment I knew I was seeing something that was just beyond anything I'd ever seen was when it's like the dude from the 70s with the electric guitar that comes in with a riff. When he shows up on screen,
he had this crazy afro as well.
Crazy, like the sunglasses and like
Jimi Hendrix kind of stuff.
Jimi Hendrix kind of stuff. It blew my mind, and I realized, oh, I'm experiencing something so different.
Yeah.
This is, dare I say, so many moments in this movie just feel iconic to me.
Yeah.
Just feel like this is something that will stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even his guitar, the look of it, just I see it, I'm just like, that's something I can, like, that's something I want. It's like, that guitar is so cool. I want it. It's iconic.
And the way in which that scene ends with the fire coming out of that juke joint.
Yes.
Without like any of the outside structure of it. With Jack O'Connell peering into it.
Peering into it with his like weird like red eyes. It's that entire sequence is just so well done. It's a oneer, and the way it mixes like all these the cultures of like the past, present, and future together is it's awe-inspiring. It is a sequence that you can tell they put a lot of effort into, and it really pays off. And that's not even like the only kind of like
one of my favorite scenes.
Yes, please.
In this film was when I think this was after he guns down the Klan, smoke guns down the Klan.
Yeah,
when he's like rolling this tobacco up. He's rolling a cigarette up, and it's basically just like I wouldn't say foreshadowing, but it's a capsule of all the moments he's had with his family.
Yeah,
with his wife, with his brothers, with those that he loves. And I thought that sort of like remembrance of them as he was trying to roll this cigarette up, this tobacco up. I thought that montage was really well done.
It was fantastic. It was an amazing kind of like emotional moment for Smoke. I really love the ending after he's fought all the Klansmen, and he has that kind of moment of peace with his wife and his daughter where he tosses the cigarette away, but not before absolutely blowing apart
it was basically
the Grand Dragon.
It felt Tarantino-esque, but the amount of like shots that were done to him.
Just absolutely he's ready to have a nice moment with his wife and baby, and this guy's just like, please, I got money, and just unloads an entire clip from a Tommy gun into him. It is so insane. God, the entire movie just, I love how the pacing of it, really, because that first hour,
because you're not, I mean, I wouldn't say you're not a fan of like long movies, but anything over an hour and a half, I get the vibe that you feel as if it's a little too long. Did you feel the same way about this movie?
I didn't. What I feel for, I love a tight 90 minutes. Love myself a tight 90-minute movie. Anything past 2 hours is fine. Like, I love Furiosa. That's 2.5 hours. It's still way too long, but I still like it. But I feel like there's this thing with a lot of movies where there's a certain point where it's like some of this feels indulgent. I can see stuff that can be cut to make it a tighter experience. But this movie, it runs 2 hours, maybe 15 minutes, I want to say, but it's just paced so well, and there's just such a good escalation. We don't even really get any supernatural elements until like the
third act. Basically
the third act. Like when Jack O'Connell initially shows up, he literally drops into the movie almost on fire because he's a vampire in the sun.
And he needs to take
refuge. But just, you're so invested with these characters and their story. Like, that first hour is not a horror movie. It's a period, like, crime drama.
Yeah.
And when it makes that change into, like, a vampire siege movie, it's so seamless, and it almost, like, resets your brain. Like, oh, I'm experiencing something so new now.
Yeah.
And I'm just as invested as I am because I'm with these characters that I've grown to love over the past hour. It's really just a case of like keeping up the energy, and I think the movie does that with such fantastic performances, set pieces, and musical set pieces. This movie's kind of a musical.
I mean, shout out to Ludwig Göransson.
Oh my God,
doing the soundtrack. Not only has he done the soundtrack for previous Ryan Coogler films, but he's also done the soundtrack or done the producing for Childish Gambino's work.
For real, I did not know
the
that.
theme song for Community as well.
It's a critical hit.
What?
You've decapitated him. Brutalitops is dead.
What? No!
No, same guy. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And one of my favorite scenes in the movie, I'll get into the post-credit scene later on, but one of my favorite scenes was an alluding to that Jack O'Connell scene, is when that indigenous tribe goes to that same house, they peer into what appears to be like a clan member's home.
Yeah.
And the people that lived at that home were so much more violent and aggressive with that indigenous tribe who were just simply trying to warn these white people about the incoming vampire apocalypse than they were of a guy burning to death.
Yeah.
And I think with so much, with so little, they said so much in that scene.
I agree. Yeah, no, I also really love that scene because it alludes to something so much bigger happening outside the movie. Like there's a group of Native American vampire hunters. That's so awesome.
So we'll get into that post-credit scene because I thought that post-credit scene was honestly. Yeah. I texted you this on Sunday after I watched the movie, but it kind of made me emotional. I'm not gonna lie. When you see the actor that played the grown-up version of Miles Caton,
Buddy Guy, blues musician Buddy Guy,
really great, talented blues musician. He's performing next month or 2 months from now in Boston. Yeah, so.
Awesome. Yeah,
we'll definitely go.
And we've seen his origin story. He fought vampires.
Yeah, go listen to his 2001 album. It's really good. But he runs into the now newer version of Stack.
And Hailee Steinfeld.
Hailee Steinfeld's character, which I wrote down her character's name. But Mary, yes. And, they were having sort of a back and forth. Stack says, I'll have whatever he's having. They have a little bit of back and forth. And he said, hey, before you leave, do you also believe in that the night or the day in which we both had was the greatest night of your life or the greatest day of your life? And Stack was like, yeah, that was the last day I actually saw my brother. And I felt like that scene in particular was just like, I mean, this film is filled with scenes that are just amazing, but I felt like that really topped it off. And I thought that was like one of the first times like a post-credit scene was actually like noteworthy and actually like important to like stick through.
It added something. It
absolutely
worked as a great emotional bookend to the movie. It really brings Sammy's story. It brings his story full circle and kind of, I think a big thesis of the movie is like, even through like pain and suffering, there is something like there is a destination. Like he says, like, I wake up paralyzed with fear thinking about that night, but it was still really like the best night of my life. And so like even through pain and hardship, there is love, and there is a goal, and there is something you can grab from all that is beautiful and that is yours, and that's powerful for a vampire movie, for just Southern Kentucky Fried Vampire movie. It's amazing, kicks ass.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like Nosferatu, right? I think I thought that was a very good movie, but I felt like this movie is what Nosferatu could have been in a lot of ways.
I think
in terms of handling the vampire aspects of making it more subtle and metaphorical, while also handling like things that were prevalent during its time. I felt and listen, I like Robert Eggers. I like Nosferatu. I think Nosferatu is a good film, but I felt like this is what Nosferatu should have been in a lot of ways.
By
the way, I like Nosferatu.
I'd say
I think that this is a better film than Nosferatu.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll give that to you. I just think they're two dissimilar kind of movies. I think they have different kind of goals that they set out, and the only real connective tissue is that the vampires. I'll give that to you. Did I enjoy myself with this more than Nosferatu? Maybe a little bit, just because it's cooler.
Yeah, I mean, it's shot wonderfully.
It's got
and Nosferatu is
gunfights.
also shot really wonderfully.
Yeah.
But I felt as if that this film understood like the tone that I was trying to go for.
Yes, yeah.
And it understood, like, at the end of the day, like, it's supposed to be a fun, enjoyable watch.
Yeah, no.
Not that Nosferatu isn't fun and enjoyable. I'm not saying that, but I felt like I had more fun watching this film.
Yeah, no, this is such a perfect fusion of, like, a patient kind of art-filled drama and a, like, insane, like, blockbuster epic. This entire movie, in simplest terms, is just such a perfect fusion of genres, and they just kind of live in harmony with one another. The initial moment when they find out that the vampires are there, it feels so natural because it's like Smoke's wife is like, oh yep, these are vampires, and it's topped off with like an electric guitar. Once she says it, it's like, okay, this is the movie I'm watching, and it's awesome.
We didn't even get into that scene in which the vampires start to play music outside.
That
was also a really
another
good scene.
where they start doing an Irish jig, and it's terrifying, but it's also so awesome the way their voices echo and the choreography of it. They're like deep in the shadows, just like circling around Jack O'Connell while he's singing all bloodied. It's so threatening too. It's a smaller little number, but when they're just the three vampires are just kind of sitting on a fallen tree playing music, and they're just playing like a cute little Irish song, and it should be nice, but there's just like this foreboding tone just kind of underneath their music that just it unsettles you. That a lot of the horror in the movie, it's unsettling. There's a tension underneath everything in the movie, and it's so well done. This is the kind of movie you get when just everyone is operating at peak efficiency. Writer, director, cast and crew, everyone is giving 110%, and it absolutely shows through that screen. And that's why this movie has been getting so much love and praise, because you can just like feel watching it. Just everyone who was there wanted to make something big and iconic, and I think they really succeeded in that.
Not only that, it's just like something new and original. Like this is like refreshing. Like oftentimes, like when we think about vampire movies, it's like done in a very like straightforward way. It's done in a very sort of like, not, I wouldn't say simplistic, but it's done in a very sort of like grandiose way where it's sort of like you operate in like make believe land. And like while this is definitely fictitious, it deals with the history of this country, but more importantly with like these people that were existing during that particular time, and it really grounds the film into something that's like relatable, not only relatable, but like something that like we can all feel. In our inner hearts. You know,
it understands like monster as like metaphor. Like the vampires in this movie, their whole thing is that Jack O'Connell, whenever he turns someone into a vampire, he gains their memories and their experiences. It's kind of like a weird hive mind situation, and that's why he wants to absorb Sammy into his fold, because this is a kid who can, relive the cultural experiences of his past through music, and he wants to steal that for himself. It's this weird metaphor on assimilation, and how like the British will come to a place and just kind of take all their It's kind of like that. Even the character Jack O'Connell plays is originally Irish, and he has this very small monologue about just like, yes, these men came to my homeland with their religion, and they took what was mine, and now I want a way to see like my family and my culture once again, and that's why I need to steal yours. It's this weird like cycle of oppression that is displayed subtextually through the movie. And yeah, that's the kind of stuff that this movie is able to get across so effortlessly.
Yeah, we didn't even get into like the religious aspects of this film and
Yeah,
how like
yes.
when
Oh my God.
religion viewed through dogma is used as like a means of control,
Mm-hmm.
and how like during several parts of this film, Miles Caton's character was definitely controlled by the use of religion, whether it's through his pastor father,
Yeah.
whether it's through like stack or smoke, through like the environment that he was raised in. You know how he's able to like break through the shackles of religion by believing in his blues music, and how he's able to use blues music as a tool to find his inner self and his inner peace. I felt like all of that was really displayed, especially in the beginning and towards the end of the film.
Yeah, I think even Delroy Lindy's Slim's character,
Delroy Lindo.
Lindo, sorry, we just f- up all the time over here, but no, even he has lines about that where he's like, "Oh, the blues music, that's not something we found here. We brought that with us overseas." And just, yeah, the movie is just filled with gut punches like that just throughout its runtime. It's a special experience.
All right, so wrapping up our thoughts.
I could talk about this movie for hours and hours. I could. It's that kind of film. It's that kind of experience. I highly recommend, if you are on the fence about seeing this movie, if you've thought, oh, maybe, no, go see it. Like, the fact that you watched us for 25 minutes, you could have used that time to buy a ticket to go see Sinners. Go see Sinners.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is one of the best films of the year. Definitely going to be in my top 5. I thought Ryan Coogler hit it out of the park. I thought the cast, the crew, everyone did. They played their role, they played their part, and it really showed in the movie. This is a film that you got to watch in the theaters, and if you don't watch it, then don't blame the studios for not financing original films.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because this is the power's up to us now to support these original films and to tell Hollywood that, hey, we want more of these films in the theaters.
We want more movies like Sinners.
We want original spectacles that are released by amazing directors to be in cinemas, and you got to support it. If you care anything about movies and the art of movie making, then you got to support this movie.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Someone give Ryan Coogler another blank check to make whatever comes out of his brain, because it was monumental.
And go check out Ryan Coogler's other works. Obviously, like Black Panther, and
everyone's seen Black Panther.
But like, go watch like Fruitvale Station.
Yeah.
And, like
Creed.
Yeah.
Creed's pretty good.
So yeah, that's it for us. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.